I'm here with Dr. Matt Simmons out of Palm Beach. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Zach?
Awesome, awesome. So just want to jump on with you briefly here, just to kind of get an understanding of your experience with us so far, and just what that's looked like, the results you've seen. Largely just to, we have a lot of doctors reaching out just to kind of help them kind of understand your experience, see if it's something that could be a good fit for them, and just to really share some of the successes you've had with us so far. So,
Sure.
yep.
Honestly, I never really wanted to years ago get into the personal injury game. It was not something that I willingly went into. It's just that when you see a whole lot of people, people get into accidents, right? So, and I figured out, fairly quickly that I didn't really know the game well. So I spent the last few years really learning my stuff when it comes to the processes and the documentation, and just how to make sure that I could do it well by the attorney's standards, and do great by them. And then I went the other way. Well, I felt completely confident that if I got a personal injury case coming into my office, that I was just gonna like kill it for the attorney and make sure that everything was I's were dotted, T's were crossed, the team was put together well. But then the problem was I didn't have all the attorneys to talk to, and so there's ways of connecting with attorneys, but when you have a busy practice, sort of like who's got the time to be able to make all those connections. And I've done the going to the mixers and schmoozing, and the ball games and the lunches and all that stuff. And honestly, the bang for the buck, it's hard to get because you're competing against everybody else. So what I really liked about your company's proposal was that it sort of just kind of hit the easy button, and allowed me to give my 10-minute elevator talk or my spiel to the attorneys, as far as finding out more about what their wants and needs and hurts and wins would look like, and really find out from on a volume basis what success looks like for them, and then kind of have the opportunity to share how we could fit that or fill that need. And the experience has been really great, because first of all, I was skeptical, like, who are you going to connect us with, right? You're going to connect us with these turn 'em and burn 'em firms who just look at our office as a commodity, and another just oh, here's a chiro in this area, I'm just going to use them. Doesn't matter like who they are, what they do, but you've been connecting us with some really great people, and I've actually made some good connections, not just from a professional standpoint, but some of these people I can see really just having a good relationship with. So you've done your job in terms of vetting who we're going to connect with, and just a lot of these guys don't have anyone in our area that they're using. So I'm super impressed. I would say of the almost 30 calls that I've had in the last 90 days, 17 or 18 of them could easily turn into a lot of business. And certainly our ROI is already positive. And we've gotten cases through people, and I see it for the long term. So I'm very impressed.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So you've already gotten an ROI before, or like right around that 90-day point, just from the relationships we've immediately built.
Yeah, so honestly, it takes time for cases to settle, or
Payouts,
for
yeah.
the payouts from the insurance companies. But yes, we've gotten 2 cases that are solid, and so it'll easily pay for itself and then some, just in during this initial period. And then of course it's up to me at that point what I continue to do with those relationships, and how I continue to nurture them, and and take care of them. So honestly, all I see is it's a good foot in the door, and then after that it's up to me. So you've certainly given me the opportunity that I haven't had before. And, I've, for at least a year before I worked with you, I knew what I was doing. So like I knew what I could do, but I just didn't have the time to be able to pull it off. And this takes that out of the equation. It's like, I've hired marketers to go out there and kind of pound pavement for me. And rather than paying somebody, and I've had two separate people who've been unsuccessful in creating those relationships. And, they're like, oh, it just takes time. It takes time. I had someone for 6 months and they didn't create, one good, lead. And and paid them for 6 months for essentially nothing. And you've given me so much more in a shorter period of time. So it's been one of, and I've done, so many, like many six figures in marketing that I've spent, over the years. And, this has been some of the best money that I've spent. So, and I'm not being paid to say this.
Wow, I appreciate it. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, I mean, what would you say? And I think you touched on it there. What would you say in terms of like we speak with a lot of guys that are kind of on the fence, a little skeptical. Sure, they want to grow their PI practice and see the value in that, but just are uncertain whether they should really pull the trigger and jump into this. What would you say to those guys, looking for that solution to add those relationships and really to add more patients in?
So I would say that it depends on the guy. So if you're the type of person who is going to know what to do when the baton is given to you, and you know how to run with it, and you can make things happen. If you're a go-getter and you're not just going to sit and wait for stuff to come onto your plate, so like maybe yes, maybe no. So like if you feel confident that you can help these attorneys out, because essentially what you are in this is you're serving both your patient, but you're also a servant to these attorneys, and your job is to do the best that you can so that you're not going to screw the case with poor documentation, and you're not going to let them down so that they get a low ball offer and never want to use you again, and you're a one and done. So if that's you, then get better at your craft. But if you feel like you know what you're doing, and then all you need is more volume of opportunities to talk to people who want to succeed and want you to help them succeed, then yeah, this is for you.
Awesome. I appreciate it. What are your plans moving forward? What do you kind of see in terms of our partnership as we continue to evolve? And what do you now just see in terms of your vision now that you have these relationships and have built a strong base as well?
So my next thing is in a couple of weeks, I'm actually doing a continuing legal education dinner for some of these attorneys. So we're going to put about 15 guys and gals in a room and spend about 3 hours educating them on our process and our sort of the unique selling proposition and how we can help them. And sort of close the deal. And so if anybody had any doubts as to sort of why use us, to really get them that plus some CLE credits, and where I can maybe see your help is in certainly when it came to like booking a call with you. I got about 50 different reminders. I'm sure that the attorneys, when it comes to knowing that there's going to be a call coming in from me, are getting reminders through your CRM. But I would love to partner with you on that and make sure that if I'm setting up an event, that they're being communicated with, and so that we can have some automation level on that, so that I can take it off my plate as well.
Cool. That sounds good. We can definitely do that.
I'm planning on staying a client. There is a point where you can only have so many attorneys who are sending you cases. So if I can't handle like 100 attorneys sending me cases every single month, but this isn't really such a high volume game. Once you have established a half dozen to a dozen good relationships, it should be on autopilot as long as you're
Sure.
doing good work. But I can definitely see just the nurturing and continuation of those relationships.
Awesome. Yeah, they're largely assets. So it's like you add the assets to your practice, and now it's just continuing to foster
Yep,
those. So
absolutely.
awesome, awesome, cool. Anything else you feel like we haven't covered, or do you think that's it?
Um, no, I think that it's a really unique proposal that you have, and gotta give you credit for finding a niche that certainly personal injury is one of the highest ROI activities that we can get into in our profession, and it brings down sort of that initial barrier on both sides of creating a relationship. Because I think that honestly, just getting in the door is 50% of the work, and so it really is such a value proposition, and it's I'm not going to say that it's worth more than you're charging me because I don't want you to charge me more. But but it really is. So so it's good for you. Good
Cool.
value.
Cool. That's what we like to hear. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Matt. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you.